So just a couple weeks from now, Fire Emblem Fates will be launching in the United States, and there's been a lot of controversy over the removal, the censorship of the petting game within Fire Emblem Fates. And personally, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna get straight to the point. This petting minigame feature, whatever the hell it is, has no business in Fire Emblem. It never should have been in the game in the first place. It doesn't contribute to what Fire Emblem is supposed to be or what it doesn't contribute to the gameplay at all. It doesn't enhance the story. It doesn't do anything. Removing this petting game feature is not going to hinder your overall Fire Emblem experience. This feature hasn't been in any previous Fire Emblem games, and this actually has no place in Fire Emblem in general, because this is a tactical RPG, a tactical role-playing game. It's about strategy, it's about a good story, it's about leveling up your characters and figuring the game out. It's not supposed to be a waifu simulator, a petting sim, a dating sim, which is sad to say is basically what Fire Emblem has become since Fire Emblem Awakening. I've been playing Fire Emblem since the first one came out in the United States on the Game Boy Advance, and then I've even played some that only came out in Japan, and I've been keeping up with the series every release since basically Fire Emblem 7. And I'm I'm not getting Fire Emblem Fates. I don't have any real interest in the franchise anymore, seeing as what it's turned into. Like when Fire Emblem first came out, it was a balls to the wall tactical RPG. Like it was so crazy. I loved the way it worked. There was the weapon triangle. There were weapons that reversed the triangle, and you had X amount of chapters to really level up your characters and get something done. There was no like really in between chapter like grinding. There was no like infinite levels. There was no reclassing your character, so you could just, that's basically the infinite levels thing. There's no DLC to grind with. It was just straight up like, go to war, and your characters get good or they don't, and that's why it was that was part of what made the game good. Like you had to really think about like, oh, what characters am I really going to need this chapter, which characters am I going to not use this chapter, and if you didn't use a character long enough, then they eventually fell behind, and it was really hard for them to catch up and get back into the fights. So I mean, maybe it was like a lack of features kind of thing. Maybe it's something they just didn't think about. But I feel like that was part of the depth and the strategy back then. And then fast forward to Fire Emblem Awakening, and there was like a lot of give and take for the franchise for me. Some things I really liked, some things I didn't. I mean, I definitely liked the Street Pass aspect of it. That was really cool. The partner system was like a double-edged sword. Like it was really cool to have that, but at the same time, kind of it kind of detracted. It was like such a easy, cheap mechanic to abuse. And then, of course, just reclassing characters until they max level, and then reclass again, and then max stats everywhere, and all these crazy, insane abilities that they could have. You could cherry pick the best abilities from each class. I don't know. It was. I feel like it really just took away from what Fire Emblem was, the strategy of it, and then the real issue was the dating aspects, where you could have the characters marry each other and then recruit their children, and that was weird. And because they had the time travel thing, it kind of, I felt like, reduced the overall quality of the story, in my opinion. And that was kind of like a dating sim aspect of it. I didn't think too much of it at first, but the crowd that it attracted to Fire Emblem has really become a problem. So here we are in Fire Emblem Fates now, and this dating sim aspect is evolving in the franchise, and it really has no place in the game. Like I said, up until Fire Emblem Awakening, this was just straight up tactical RPG. It was about a good storyline, it was about strategy, and it just kind of started crumbling and falling apart. And Fire Emblem was one of my favorite franchises. Like I don't know how many of you guys know how it feels to watch one of your favorite gaming franchises just like crumble and fall apart in quality. That's what's happening to me right now. And the problem is, a lot of you watching this video, a lot of Fire Emblem fans, their first game was Awakening, so they don't really truly understand where I'm coming from here. Like, only the older Fire Emblem fans really know what I'm talking about. And the people that started on Awakening, they'll be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Awakening was great. It was a great game. It was like, okay, like I'll give you that. It was a good game, but for the Fire Emblem standards, it was kind of like one step forward, two steps back, and then the fans it attracted, I just can't stand them. I really can't. Like, the game was just overall easier. The story wasn't really that good in comparison to other Fire Emblem games, and people were like, "Oh, well, if you play on the harder modes, then it was hard." It was like the older games already had harder modes too, and they were just hard from the fucking beginning. So, like, if you played on the hard mode, you had to be like a super genius to like make it through the fucking game. I don't know. There's really not much else to say. I love the old Fire Emblem games and what they stood for, and now the newer games are just moving away from that. They're just becoming everything I hate about gaming. And then fucking there's 3 versions of Fire Emblem Fates. Okay, 2 versions and like a DLC expansion. Like, what is this, Pokemon? Like, this is dumb. You shouldn't have to buy 3 games. Spend what? Okay, so if you download one game, $40. If you download the other, it's 20. And then if you download the DLC, that's 20. Or if you buy 2 physical copies, that's 80. And then 20 on the DLC, that's 100. I don't know. You spend a shit ton of money on this, and I don't know. It's just really the Fire Emblem franchise just really hoard out at this point. I can't stand it. Fuck the fans. Fuck the new age Fire Emblem fans. I hate you all. You're the reason why this shit's falling apart. Go eat a dick. Fuck your waifu simulator.